Hi, this is Barbara Ellman.
And hi, David Sanders here for our third segment. And we're going to focus today on personal space.
So it's been another week or two, and we're hearing more from our clients that the real struggle is how they can get personal space in a way that's not hurtful to their partner and has reciprocity. Because, in fact, let's face it, there's a lot of shared space, and we each need some personal space to get ourselves feeling calm or expressing ourselves in some personal way, like music or art or even a walk.
Work is also a big issue for personal space and quiet
Right.
space too.
So the first step in this for best practice is how to ask for it. So we ask for it way before there's any potential blame. We ask for it because we say, I need some personal space. I want to figure out with you what's a good time, how we can create this so that I can do it that's still convenient to the fact that we have shared space. So I'd like to have some personal space as a request we're encouraging our clients to make of their partner.
And Barbara, that could be a set plan in a kind of a daily or weekly way.
Right.
It could also be a little bit of a urgent or emergency request, like, hey, I need some personal space.
Great.
And I wanted to point out also that this is another best practice, because what I have found with people last week was that when people are asking for personal space, their partner can often take that way too personally, and they can feel that it might feel to them like a rejection. And that's again a very important point of how couples negotiate these kinds of things around space, because it's just a request for the need of your partner, and it's totally understandable that it could be felt as a rejection, and yet be open to recognizing that it is simply a need of your partner and is not in any way a statement about them liking you or not.
And that promotes the third part, which is my partner's just telling me what they need, and the recipient is just taking it for face value. And now we can begin to figure out some agreement that works for our family, or for works for today, or works for the whole week. So that would be the third part, is back to an agreement.
Once that agreement occurs and it's coming from one partner, I think what we have found often is one person in the couple really has a better take of their need for space, but there has to be also an equal awareness that those things need to be reciprocal. You were telling me of a situation with a couple where I thought you worked it out beautifully with them.
Thank you. So this is a woman who's quite high level manager, and she uh, asked for space, which is to go into an office area in their home and close the door and say, I'm going to be working. However, as she continues her day, I guess there's a increase in volume because she gets excited or she gets animated. And there was some tension because her partner's desire for space is some quiet space. But there was an invasion, obviously not intentional, by the woman manager becoming louder. So her partner didn't know quite what to do. And then what emerged was a notion of a note that he slipped under the door saying, please just bring down the volume. And what was lovely is he asked for exactly what he needed in terms of space, which had to do with the sound, the sound quality. And she got what she needed, which was door closed, personal space.
And I think that is just a beautiful illustration of how they can both work out
Right.
the need for their personal space. Because again, when we talk about personal space, we're not just talking about an enclosure, right? We're talking about the need for quiet, the need perhaps to just be alone for a period of time.
Right. Right.
Let alone the importance of, I would like, a certain time to have my space respected for important work, things like that.
There are people who are much clearer about their need for personal space, as they're much clearer about any number of things in life. They just know. They just know. So I just want to put a good vote here that you ask your partner, that couples where one person is much clearer, to say, hey, honey, I want to ask you to pay attention to your need for personal space. I want to support you in that. Let's talk about your need and what that might look like. And your need may look different than my need. It may be to stare at a wall in silence. But
Yes.
whatever it is, we want reciprocity.
One of the other things I would like to mention about this, and this is an important point as well, that the recipient of the request for space, having now not taken it personally, may also need to be on the alert. This is what I would call an active awareness, to be respectful of the partner's request. So I was with a couple where it was really, prior to all of this, they were used to calling each other on the phone, checking in, but with all of the pressures and stresses on, in this case, on the woman, she was requesting that her husband not call her as often because she needed time to concentrate on the children, the taking care of them, their schoolwork, and she also had a part-time job. So what had worked before was not working at this point. And the recipient of the request that she said, which is, please don't call me as often, he had to actually actively remind himself to not make that call as often. And when he didn't do it, and this is really a really wonderful point of how we work with couples, she then, of course, was encouraged to, but she acknowledged that he was giving her the space that she needed.
And
This
she
is
was appreciative.
yeah, this is such an important point
Right.
about how couples not only respect and come to agreements, but also how they acknowledge each other for doing what it is that is requested. And our best wishes,
In granting each other personal space.
like we try to do with each other.